Hi, welcome to episode 7 of You Can Teach Yourself. I'm your guide, Patrick Horn, and today we're going to take a dive into vibrato in sort of a mini 3-part series. The first part is going to be the why, the how you vibrate, and also preparation for doing vibrato exercise. The second part is going to be the width of the vibrato and the cycling of the vibrato, and then the third part of the series is going to be how to speed it up. All right, so here we go. The first part. So basically, why do you want to vibrate? And basically, it's for expression, coloring the sound, creating some kind of extra emotional intensity in the sound. And if you look across sort of all cultures, all instruments, everyone finds a way to vibrate their sound. So it's not that you have to do it if you don't want to, but if you choose to do it, it's something that has nothing to do with class, has nothing to do with privilege, because Aboriginal people use this technique, this tremor in the voice, as well as opera singers. So I think it's something that's universal, that's human, and not only is it something that's going to help your sound to develop a great sound, it's also going to help to project your sound out in sort of little waves of sound as you send out your sound in little packets of waves. It helps to project. Too much of it may disturb the blend of a section, but enough of it is needed for solo work in order to sort of take your sound, distinguish it from the rest. At any rate, that's why you might want to vibrate. Now, how you want to vibrate. Okay, so there's a couple different ways that people vibrate. I'm going to jump to a quick clip showing my vibrato slowed way down so you can see what's happening. Here we go. Okay, back from the clip. So what you saw up close, I'm just going to sort of break it down from the finger all the way back. At the fingertip level, what you're seeing is my fingers going forward, so that this final joint versus the second joint right here is almost at a 90-degree angle. That would be the forward part of the vibrato. The backward part, these two joints are going to flatten out. And what we're doing is basically we're lowering the pitch by close to a half step and raising the pitch by close to a half step. And when you cycle that back and forth, like a full cycle would be at pitch, below pitch, back to at pitch. That's one cycle. And you repeat it over and over again with speed, and you have vibrato. So there's no actual sliding happening with the finger. It's a rocking motion, like a rock and a roll, like this. So it's super important to get this joint flexible right here. You see how mine's nice and flexible? That's the first thing. The second thing is, in order to generate this motion in the finger to create the vibrato, there's basically 3 different ways you can generate that. And one is with sort of like this finger going up and down, kind of like a trill. That's what we're going to call a finger vibrato right there, if that then turns into a vibrato. The hand will also move a little bit, but it feels like it's starting from the finger. This is the type of vibrato you're not going to use very often. It's only to like highlight maybe a 16th note. I'm not even going to really cover that right now because it's sort of like the final step of vibrato, the finger vibrato. The middle type of vibrato would be using your hand to generate all this motion in the finger. All right, sort of like if you've got an egg shaker, or if you're knocking on a door, knock, knock. This motion right here, and that's the way that I do most of my vibratos with the hand. Like this. The wrist is still. Some people might call it a wrist vibrato, but I don't like to call it a wrist vibrato because that means your wrist is moving contrary to the hand, and that kind of sometimes cancels out everything that's happening at the finger. So keep the wrist still, move the hand. This is hand vibrato. This is what I'm going to teach. However, you can't always use the hand vibrato. So it's important to know that you can also generate the motion in the fingertip with the whole arm like this. This is going to be a more natural movement for most people because everyone's used to bringing things towards their body or pushing things away using the whole forearm, all right? I got to a point where I felt like I was tightening up with my vibrato, and my late uncle Arthur, once asked me, "Man, do you ever get tired, playing vibrato? It just looks like so much work, that arm going forward, backward." He says, "It looks like a lot of repetitive work." And then at the time, this was probably 15 years ago, I thought about it and I said, you know what? Yes, for efficiency, the E in fair, remember fun, alignment, relax, efficient, I felt, well, why not just use the smaller muscle groups for the repetitive task and use just the hand to vibrate. That way I'm using my forearm muscles to flex and then the backside to extend instead of the bicep and the tricep for the whole arm. All right, so this is going to be a lighter weight, less mass, smaller muscles, and I think I'm able to vibrate faster that way, get a faster speed because there's less mass happening. So that's what I'm going to do, is show you how to play with just the hand. There are going to be times where you're playing octaves with a 1-4 or the interval of a second with a 4-1, where it's going to be hard to get that kind of rotation of the hand in order to get the proper width of the vibrato. So in that case, yeah, we're going to want to bring the whole arm in to get a proper width of the vibrato in really intense playing. So most of the time if you're playing a single note melody, it's just going to be the hand. All right, so, okay, that's the preamble. Here we go for the vibrato prep exercise. If you're new to vibrato, this is a good place to start. Okay, so what we do first of all is you're going to take your palm of your hand and you're going to put it on the violin rib over here. You're going to go up to 4th position or something, wherever your hand hits the rib right here, and you're simply going to wave to yourself like this. All right, so you're waving. This is the motion that you're going to use for the hand vibrato. And now we're going to make contact with the string. The first thing we're going to do is use our first finger, and we're going to get that first finger, whatever string's comfortable. I'm just going to go to A string, because that's maybe a little more comfortable than E string. And I'm simply going to polish the A string with my first finger by lightly touching the string, going up and down, keeping my palm on the rib. This is what I call polishing the string. Second step, add a little bit of weight to the finger until you feel like you're dragging your finger across the string. And what this is going to do in slow motion is start to develop that little, the sway of this joint right here. When you add a little bit of weight, I know it's hard to see, maybe this is a better angle, right there. So I add a little bit of weight, and I start to drag my finger across the string, keeping that final joint relaxed. And finally, you're going to add enough weight until it sticks, and we're rocking and we're rolling. And if I stop forward, we're close to a 90-degree angle between this joint and this joint, not quite. And if we stop backwards, it's going to be close to a 0-degree angle, not quite. Things to look out for is you don't want to squeeze with your thumb from the side. That's going to hamper the vibrato motion. And also on this side, you don't want the side of the finger to get too stuck against the side of the neck. That's also going to hamper your motion. So at first, it might be good to keep the thumb free and make sure that this is lightly touching the neck or not at all. All right, so we're at the rock and roll phase, and then I like to reverse everything. Loosen up the finger, we're dragging the finger, loosen it up some more, we're polishing the string, and then finally release the finger from the string and into the air. All right, and now you're waving to yourself. So here's what it's going to look like with the second finger. I go through to the second finger. Polish, add weight, drag, add more weight, rock and roll. All right, my thumb is free. My first finger is free over here. All right, loosen the finger a little bit till we drag the finger across the string. Loosen it more till we're really polishing the string. And then finally release the finger to the air and you're back to the wave. Repeat for the third finger. All right, I'm going to polish first, very lightly touching the string. This helps just align the vibrato along the direction of the string. So you're not going sort of sideways. We don't want the vibrato to go sideways. We want it to come up and down the string to raise the pitch and lower the pitch. All right, so that's why this first step is important here. Increase the weight until you're dragging the finger and you start to get the action of the relaxed final joint right here. And then finally add weight until the finger sticks into the fingerboard and you're rocking and rolling, just back and forth like this. And this is a very sort of early version of the hand vibrato that's slow. And we'll build this up to speed later and also build in the width later. Loosen up, drag the finger across the string, loosen it up some more, polish the string for a nice alignment with the string, relax the finger, and you're waving to yourself. And finally, fourth finger. Fourth finger is probably the hardest one, so don't forget that. Get that fourth finger on the string loose, polishing the string. I wish I had 60 feet per second on my camera. It's only 30 feet per second, so this might look blurry. My apologies. We're going to add weight to drag the finger, add more weight till it sticks, and then suddenly we've got the rock and roll, which is the vibrato motion of raising the pitch and lowering the pitch. Loosen the finger, drag it, and then finally loosen it more until it's polishing and release it to the air. And then we are done with our vibrato prep. So that is the end of part 1. Here, part 2 is coming up next.